Okay, so as a continuation doon sa ating discussion when it comes to the feed additives, let's talk about yung probiotics natin. So, there's parang a misunderstanding or misconception when it comes to probiotics. Since meron siyang kaakibat or meron siyang parang um, similar term which is called prebiotics. Okay? But when we say probiotics, it is also known as live microbial supplement. So take note of the word live. Okay? So meaning yung ini-ingest ng animal, live na mga microbes yun. Okay? Ano tong mga microbes na to? These are beneficial microorganisms, mainly lactic acid, producing bacteria and yeast combinations. So they are added to the rations to improve the intestinal microbial balance of the animal. So example of this is yung mga microorganisms like the Lactobacillus species as well as the Bifidobacterium species. So yung mechanism on how probiotics work is that it will um, sort of like replace bacteria and other microbes in the gut that may have no beneficial effect on the animal. So it will replace those microorganisms that do not have any function or beneficial effect on the animal, and then they will exert their effect um, on the gastrointestinal tract of the animal, which often than not, it is beneficial, nabe-benefitan yung animal. So, yun yung probiotics. When it comes to prebiotics kasi, patay na or hindi live yung microbial um, na ini-ingest ng ating animal. Okay? So, another one is yung repartitioning agents na tinatawag. So these are used to increase lean muscles and reduce fat deposition in carcasses when added in the diet during the finishing period. So examples of these are chromium and hormones. Ang laging tatandaan lang when it comes to repartitioning agent is that yung keyword na repartitioning. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, yung ginagawa nitong feed additive na to is that imbes na yung in-ingest na nutrient ng isang animal is mapupunta sa like for example, fat deposition. Ang gagawin ngayon, i-replace na or i-repartition niya yung nutrient na yun na dapat sana pupunta sa fat deposition. Ilalagay niya ito sa lean muscle, sa development ng lean muscle. So there will be an increase in the lean muscle and then there will be a reduce in the fat deposition. Kasi nga, tinetake or kinukuha yung nutrients na dapat mapunta sa fat deposition, then ilalagay niya sa lean muscle development. So yun yung mechanism, parang simple mechanism nitong repartitioning agent. So ginagawa ito in order to have a leaner na meat ng mga animals natin. Imbes na masyadong mataba, mapupunta ngayon sa pag-develop ng lean muscles. Okay? So yun yung repartitioning agents. Then we have surfactants. Yung surfactants naman, these are chemical agents that facilitate uniform dispersion of molecules in feed or feed mixture. Yung surfactants natin, ang ibig sabihin nito, since it facilitate yung pag-disperse ng mga molecules in feeds or feed mixture, this will result to a more uniform na feed. This will result to mas yung texture ng feed mas maganda, hindi nagklaklamp yung mga feeds because of these surfactants na feed additive. Okay? Yun yung ginagawa naman itong surfactants natin. Then you have toxin binders. As the name implies, ang ginagawa naman ni toxin binders is to detoxify yung mga mycotoxin contaminated feeds and raw materials by either chelating the mycotoxin or by blocking the effect of mycotoxin. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, Pag in the event na merong like for example molds doon sa na nabuo doon sa feed, this will develop mycotoxin. So ang ginagawa ng toxin binder is that it will chelate the mycotoxin. Ang ano lang is parang kinakat yung mycotoxin in order for that toxin to not have any effect, or pwede rin na dinablock niya yung mycotoxin na yon. Okay? So it will do this effect on the digestive tract of the animals that ingest the contaminated feeds. So um, some examples of toxin binders natin, you have polyvinyl pyrrolidone and aluminum silicate, which are the commonly used na toxin binders natin. Okay? So those are the feed additives. Common feed additives na nilalagay. As the name implies, add. Ina-add natin doon sa commercial feeds natin or any other feeds in order to overall have a beneficial effect doon sa digestion, doon sa nutrition ng ating animal. Okay? So those are our feed additives. Okay, so with that, let's go doon sa evaluation ng feed quality natin. So, poor feed quality and adulterated feed ingredients stand out as two major problems in feed production. So, laging tatandaan, yung dalawang major na problem sa feed industry as a whole is yung poor feed quality. So, when we say poor feed quality kasi, ano yan? This will overall affect the productivity of the animal. Kasi pag masyadong poor or masyadong mababa yung kalidad ng binibigay mo na feed, yung ini-ingest naman ng mga animals natin na nutrients, mababa din. Okay? So, pag poor yung feed quality, it will result eventually into poor productivity of the animal. And in our case, since we are involved, pag low yung productivity ng ating animals, then malulugi tayo. So yun yung kaya nga tinawag na isang major problem itong poor feed quality. Another one is adulterated feed ingredients. Ang ibig sabihin ng adulterated, parang natamper, parang may binago doon sa feed. So pwedeng nilagyan ng mga binders, pwedeng nilagyan ng mga fillers, pwedeng tinanggal itong feed ingredient, nireplace ng isang substitute. Yun yung mga parang examples ng adulteration na nagagawa sa feed ingredient. So, ang kaso nito, ang result nito, if the feed is adulterated, then eventually it will result to a poor feed quality. And then, as I've explained, this will result to a low productivity of the animal, and then overall will result to pagkalugi doon sa mga raisers natin, doon sa mga farmers natin. Okay? So again, the two major problems in feed production, you have poor feed quality and adulterated feed ingredients. So in order to combat itong mga dalawang problem na to, we can actually evaluate the feed in order for us to know if maganda ba yung quality ng feed, or at the same time, in order for us to know if meron bang tampering or adulteration na naganap or nagawa doon sa feed mismo. So, yung mga big feed mills natin in the country have set up quality control laboratories which test the ingredients with the end view of either rejecting the supplies or adjusting the price on the basis of quality. Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung mga malalaking companies natin that have feed mills actually can afford to have laboratories wherein they will set the ingredients, test the ingredients, evaluate the ingredients, and the overall goal of these laboratories, of this testing, is to either reject the supplies because they did not meet the standard of the feed company, or adjust the price of the feed that was produced based on the quality that was presented to them, or the quality that na nakita doon sa feed natin. So, however, this is only applicable to our big companies. The small livestock and poultry producers that mix their own feeds depends on the different feed laboratories for the analysis of the ingredients they are going to use in formulation. Okay? So yung mga maliliit naman na mga livestock and poultry producers natin na have the capacity naman to make their own feed pero do not have the ability or the resources to actually set up a laboratory, they will depend doon sa mga um, feed laboratories natin para sa analysis ng mga ingredients nila na gagamitin nila for formulation. So that's the disadvantage naman if you are a small livestock and poultry producer that formulate its own feed. If wala kang um, laboratory, then kailangan na mag-depend ka talaga dun sa mga nakaset up na feed laboratories natin. Okay? So, aside from that, since meron namang parang general information or data on the feed compositions, yung mga nutrient compositions of our different feed ingredients, other livestock raisers who mix their own feeds, who do not have the capability or the resources to submit their feed ingredients to the laboratories will depend on the feed composition tables for the nutrient values of the ingredients. Ang problema nito, if you depend only on the tables, on the nutrient composition tables, ang problema nito, hindi naman en toto na 100% is yun na yung nasa table is yun na yung nutrient content ng nasa actual na feed ingredient mo. Kaya yung kalalabasan nito, it will result to inaccurate feed formulation since you do not have the actual data on the nutrient composition. But but we do not have or they do not have any choice kasi nga wala naman silang laboratory to evaluate the feed ingredients. Wala rin naman silang availability to go to any laboratories to evaluate that feed ingredients. So the last resort is for them to actually look into the feed composition tables. Anyway, hindi naman magkakalayo-layo yung mga values. Yes, there will be some inaccuracies in feed formulation, but at the end of the day, since hindi naman magkakalayo-layo yung mga values, then maganda pa rin na mag-depend ka or maganda pa rin na mag-refer ka sa mga feed composition tables mo. So with that, there are numerous procedures in determining the quality of feed ingredients, and the choice of method depends on the facilities available. Ang ibig sabihin nito, may mga three types or three or more classifications natin ng pag-evaluate ng feed quality. And the procedure for it, on what classification or type of examination that you will do, will depend on the facilities that is available on that laboratory. Okay? So first on the list, I think this is the most simplest, is visual examination. So visual examination can be conducted with minimum facilities and expenses. Ang ibig sabihin nito, in visual examination, kahit microscope, pwede na. So the usual observations made with the naked eye or with the use of a hand lens or microscope can detect of quality feed ingredients or finished feed. So ang ng visual examination is that you depend mainly on the eye, on the experienced eye, so para ma-detect or para makita yung quality ng feed. Okay? So yung tanong ngayon, ano yung mga tinitignan when it comes to visual examination of feed ingredients? So first is color. So yung mga samples natin of the incoming raw materials will be inspected to see that this conform with the following specifications. So first in the list is color. So through visual examination, makikita mo if the feed is has typical color, bright, and then uniform yung kulay. Kasi this is an indication na maganda yung feed. However, color may be misleading where depth of a color may reflect the inclusion of a contaminant material which has similar color as in the feed ingredient. A disadvantage of visual examination is that you cannot clearly 100% determine talaga yung feed quality. Kasi you are depending on the naked eye or with the aid of microscope or lens to see the feed ingredients. And in the event that a foreign material with the same color as the feed ingredient contaminated your feed, then hindi mo yan makikita kasi parehas sila ng kulay. Okay? So another one is odor. Clean characteristic smell, no evidence of overcooking and undercooking as in the case of beans. So just remember na through visual examination, ang nagkakandak lang nito ay yung mga may experience na. Hindi pwede na ikandak ito ng isang beginner kasi hindi niya naman madi-distinguish if the feed is overcooked or undercooked. So kailangan na meron pa ring experience na personnel that will conduct the visual examination. So aside from color and odor, ang tinitignan din sa visual examination niya texture. So kailangan that the texture of the feed should be in the reasonable particle size for the product. Ang ibig sabihin nito, if you are evaluating a starter feed, if you are evaluating a mash feed, kailangan na alam mo or kailangan na uniform yung particle size and then it coincide or it will parang like for example, if it is mush, then yung particle size should be smaller compared to like that of the finisher or the starter. Okay? Then another one is moisture. Non-sticking, no wet spots, free flowing. So, pag meron kasing moisture doon sa feed, this will eventually lead to molds or can contaminate the feed. Kasi yung moisture na yan, it is also a medium for bacteria to grow. Kaya, pag nabasa yung feed mo, tapos hindi mo siya drenay kaagad, usually yung mangyayari, nag-create yan ng molds. And mold is not a good thing for the animal pag na-aksidente niyang na-ingest ito because it contains toxin. So as much as possible in examining or in the visual examination, you need to identify those feeds that have moisture in it. Okay? Then aside from that, you also have uniformity. So ang ibig sabihin ng uniformity, consistent. Pare-parehas yung kulay and texture ng mga feed ingredients on the feed. And then temperature. So dapat there is no evidence of heating. Kasi pag merong evidence, like for example, merong heating, ang ano nito is merong mga bacteria na may metabolize. May mga bacterias that are growing. That's why it is may heating na nagaganap. Kasi yun yung napoproduce ng mga metabolic heat ng mga bacteria natin eventually mafe-feel. So there should be no evidence of heating. Then, absence of dirt, mold, sticks, metal objects, gravel, and other foreign materials. So, by examination, visual examination, makikita mo if merong mga foreign objects. Ano yung mga foreign objects? Dirt, molds, sticks, metal objects, gravel, and other foreign materials. So, ang gagawin nito, kailangan tanggalin. Okay? Pag hindi talaga matanggal, then you reject yung feed na yun. Then there should be no evidence of bird, rodent, or insect contamination. So, makikita dapat na walang, like for example, yung sako ng feed, hindi kinagatan ng mga ng mga rodents. Dapat walang insect na makikita doon sa loob ng feed, mga ganun. Okay? Then, dry and no evidence of previously being wet. So, like what I've said, pag merong moisture kasi yan, it can be a medium for bacterial contamination or proliferation of bacteria. So the bags of finished feeds, concentrates, premixes that need careful and thorough inspection have the following characteristics. So first, clumps, moldy spots. So kailangan tanggalin na if may mga clumps or moldy spots. Musty, moldy, or off odor, hindi masyado iba yung amoy doon sa typical na feed. Wet spots or hot spots also dapat titignan in order for you to know kung meron bang contamination na naganap. Then, doon sa bags na yun, pag merong excessive fine or very coarse pieces of or combination of both doon sa feed, pwede rin na it can affect yung feed quality kasi pag masyadong pino kasi, masasayang lang, maiyangin lang. Pag masyado namang coarse, baka dadaktal unay ngahan nga ma-ingest si animal. Then, pag mayroong mga excessive foreign materials, then dapat na-reject na yung feed na yon. And then, pag mayroong mga evidence ng rodents, birds, infestations, then hindi rin pwede yung mga yon. Okay? So, aside from visual examination, meron din tayong microscopic examination. So, feed microscopy, which is the study of the appearance of the feed sample under the microscope. So, with this technique, the purity of the sample and presence of contaminants or adulterants can be easily detected. With the use of a microscope, usually yung mga, hindi lang to yung mga compound microscope, okay? Yung mga mas advanced pa na microscope. So yun yung ginagamit in order for them to actually know yung purity para alam nila if may contaminants ba, may adulteration bang naganap doon sa feed. So feed microscopy involves minimal cost. So the equipment and instrument required for feed microscopy are simple, usually low power stereo microscope, set of sieves, illuminator, tweezer or forceps, probe or needle, spot plate, and a set of standards. Yun yung mga instrument, materials na kailangan na gamitin mo when doing microscopic evaluation or examination. Then, another one, I think this is the last one, is chemical analysis. So this is the most expensive, but at the same time, can produce accurate result doon sa feed quality mo. So proximate analysis is widely used as an index of nutritive value of the feed, although it does not define the nutrient content of the feed. So sa chemical analysis, a feed ingredient is analyzed into 6 fractions. So na-discuss ko na to during your proximate analysis na discussion natin. You have moisture, crude fiber, either extract or crude fat, crude protein, ash, and nitrogen-free extract. So the values for CP, EE, CF, and ash provide a profile of the samples. The proximate constituents in combination with the visual and microscopic examinations give buyer confidence in their yung genuine, and acceptability of the feed. So low protein value is basis for rejection or adjustment of prices. Ang ibig sabihin, pag nakita na sa chemical analysis na masyadong mababa yung crude protein value, then pwede mong i-reject or pwedeng i-adjust yung price. Okay? So those are the steps or parang procedures that you can follow in evaluation ng feed quality natin. So with that, that ends our discussion on the common feed ingredients, the common feed additives, and the evaluation of feed quality. Again, since this is the last, I will conduct a quiz again on the feed additive and evaluation of feed quality next meeting. So please review.